Okay, people, I think it's time for us to have some fun. We could go to a concert, or maybe you prefer a film. What about a play? We may find some interesting recommendations in the next unit. Let's go. Let's talk about things to do on a night out, finally. I really like going to the theatre. I enjoyed Shakespeare's plays. You know Shakespeare, right? He's Britain's greatest playwright. But what are the main elements in a play? Well, we have the actors, the stage, the set, the props. You could go to the theatre to see a classic play like Hamlet. You could also see a musical, a play with actors who sing and dance on stage like Mamma Mia. So once you've decided what play you want to see, what is the next step? You need to buy the tickets. You can go to the theatre and buy them at the ticket window, or you can book them online. If you're not a fan of the theatre, you can go to a concert. There you can listen to classical music, jazz, blues, soul, rock and roll, pop, heavy metal. Let's talk about the members of a music band. Well, the coolest one is usually the singer. Then there is the guitarist, the bassist, the keyboard player, and the drummer. And then, of course, the fans. Another good plan for a fun night, going to the cinema. Who doesn't like to go to the cinema? Eat popcorn and watch a good film on a huge screen. A film needs a director, a producer, a script writer, a cast, a technical team, and some extras, of course. The characters are very important to the actors because they can boost their careers. And what kinds of films are there? Well, there are action films, science fiction films, drama, comedy, romantic comedy, and horror films. I'm not a fan of horror films, to be honest. Too stressful. So what do you choose? A play, a concert, a film? Of course, you can just stay at home. Netflix and chill is always a good plan. Have you noticed what kind of verbs I've been repeating all the time? You can go. You could like. These are modal verbs, and it's time to talk about them. Modal verbs are auxiliary verbs, so they always go with another verb, the main verb. For example, can. Louisa can speak 5 languages. I can't help you right now. The second modal verb is could. Could indicates ability or possibility, just like can, in the past. For example, Dimitri could play the piano when he was 6 years old. I couldn't do the dishes this morning. I was too busy. We also use could to express future possibilities, as in, we could go to the cinema tonight. Next, may. We use it to express possibilities in the future, just like could. For example, take your coat, it may get cold later. I may do some gardening tomorrow. We also use may to give permission or instructions to do something, and also to ask for them, like in these sentences. You may leave now if you want. May I use the phone, please? Might is very similar to may. We use it to talk about possibilities in the future and also in the present, like this. I might have pizza tonight. It might be better if you call her now. Will is another modal verb that you know. We use it to form the future tense, as in, we will learn English. What about shall? We use it like will to talk about the future, and we often use it to make suggestions. Look at these examples. Your grandmother shall be very happy to see you. Shall we meet at 6 o'clock? Next, should. We use should to express an obligation or a recommendation. For example, we should eat more vegetables. They shouldn't sell their house for that price. Ought to has the same meaning as should, but it's less common. Repeat with me, ought to. It's a bit scary when you see it written, right? Some examples with ought to. He ought to study harder. You ought to buy a bigger car. You also know the verb must from previous units. We use it to indicate obligation, prohibition, or necessity, like this. You must not drink and drive. We must be quiet when the teacher is speaking. We also use it to indicate probability or to make assumptions. For example, driving on the right must be hard for British people abroad. Sophie is not here. She must be in the toilet. And finally, would. We use would to talk about preferences and to ask questions in a polite way. For example, she would like to visit Norway one day. I would like a glass of wine, please. Would you like to go to the opera tomorrow? Okay, I think you would like to finish this lesson. So let's leave it here. Good job, everyone.
At a concert, sometimes the crowd asks the band to play another song at the end. Do you know how we do it in English? We say encore, encore. So if you ever attend a concert by an English-speaking band, remember this and they will be amazed by your excellent English. Although encore is actually a French word we have adopted into our language.